Joe Biden's self-imposed deadline to name a running mate came and went on August 1st. His next deadline, the first week of August, came and went last week. But the deadline he can't miss comes next week, the Democratic National Convention. And so tonight, as the New York Times is reporting, the pick is imminent and will likely be announced in the middle of this week. Joe Biden went through this same vetting process back in 2008. He's been very open about how seriously he takes this decision, both for his campaign and for the future of the Democratic Party. What we do know is that his pick will be a woman. He's told us that. And we all remember what happened the last time a woman was on the ticket opposite Donald Trump. And so when you hear the name of the woman who is going to be Joe Biden's running mate, you might be impressed by her credentials. You should be. But what you will really need to be impressed by is the fortitude of someone who is going to have anything she has ever said, written, or done scrutinized, dug up, and held against her. So tonight I'm going to talk to someone who knows what it's like to be at the receiving end of those attacks. Katie Hill flipped a district held by Republicans for more than 20 years in the historic 2018 wave that saw more than 100 women elected to Congress. But less than a year later, then Congresswoman Hill found herself resigning from Congress after her ex-husband leaked revenge porn of her online, which led to an allegation of an inappropriate affair with a staffer. But before she left, she delivered a fiery speech on the House floor, calling out, quote, the dirtiest gutter politics she had ever seen.
I'm leaving, but we have men who have been credibly accused of intentional acts of sexual violence and remain in boardrooms, on the Supreme Court, in this very body, and worst of all, in the Oval Office.
Katie Hill is now detailing her experience in a new book, She Will Rise, Becoming a Warrior in the Battle for True Equality. Former Congresswoman Katie Hill joins me now. Good to see you again. You and I have not talked since you were in Congress, and now you have come out with a book that tells a story many of us thought we knew, but it really tells a lot more. Tell me about this moment that you're in which you're releasing this book, this moment that we are in America, where we're on the footsteps of having a woman named as a vice presidential candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I decided I wanted to launch this book in conjunction with the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which is when women, got the hard-fought right to vote. And, of course, that was only for white women. It took a lot longer for women of color to be able to fully exercise their voting rights. But the truth is that we've come a long ways in these past 100 years, but we've got a long way to go. And it's a monumental feat that we have a woman who is going to become vice president, who is going to be nominated as vice president, and I really think has the best shot at winning. But we still have so much more work to do, and one of the things that we see the most is the double standard to which women are held, and we're seeing this play out perfectly in the VP process.
Let's just dig a little deeper on that one, because we use different language when we talk about women. We criticize different things. As I said yesterday, we ask women for a plan and for receipts, and when we just take men at their word that they're going to do it. But your particular experience was different, particularly about the things that we don't pursue men for, that we destroy women's careers for.
Yeah, I mean, we have someone like Donald Trump who has multiple allegations and proven allegations of sexual assault and certainly sexual harassment. And the reality is that we've seen that over and over with male politicians, with male candidates. And of course, in my case, I decided that the right move was for me to step down. And I don't regret that choice. But I think it is a perfect example of when, we hold women to this kind of heightened standard of what we want to see, this sort of, you have to be perfect if you're going to be a female politician. And we do not expect that from men. And in many cases, scandals involving male politicians actually boost their numbers. So I think there's a real reconciliation that we have to have as we're looking at more and more women running for office, being elected to office, making it to the highest levels as a nominee of the party or as a vice presidential nominee for the ticket. Then we really need to rethink the way that we're looking at women, and it's simply not on equal playing field right now. That's why, a big part of the work that I have moving forward is really electing women.
In fact, you've started a political action committee called Her Time, which is devoted to supporting younger women and women of color. What do you hope to achieve with that?
The goal is to get us to actual parity, which means that 50% of elected bodies are made up of women. And I don't think that we're going to be able to achieve true equality until we hit that standard. We've got a huge legislative agenda that is very common sense. And honestly, I don't think it's controversial at all. That can help us really dismantle the barriers that women are facing in terms of equality altogether. But I don't think that we're going to be able to achieve those outcomes until we have enough women who are elected to office. And so really that's the purpose of Her Time. And I think that we have this moment in history where, we know that we're going to have a woman nominated as the vice presidential nominee. And I think that last time in 2016, we saw this as a historic moment. So many of us thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win. This is now a time where we realize, such gains are fragile. And we saw that with my own case, right? Those, what we thought was a huge victory, and it was, it can be taken away in a moment's notice because of the misogyny and double standards that are at play. So I think we have to have that same realization when it comes to the vice presidential nominee. And I'm concerned about the way we've already treated that process and certainly the way that it's going to be used moving forward.